Today we're making new friends. We're building a community. And we're still doing all the things we love. We're getting the most out of every day. One day we'll rest, but not today.
Welcome back to the Night Bowling Club in Lower Hutt for the Bowls3Five Interclub Finals, where we will find out who are the two sides to join our current six in Bowls3Five on Sky Sport later this year. Round 2 action coming up to you very, very shortly. We've already had the first round completed in both sections. Round 2 action now in Section 1, Takapuna up against Hastings and Nelson up against Taieri. That will be our feature game. Bye for Royal Oak, and in Section 2 we'll keep you up to date with that. Auckland up against New Plymouth and Timaru up against the Parajacks. Henuera with the bye. But our first game that we're bringing to you in this round, it is Nelson who were winners in round 1. Richard Collett, Joe Edwards and Val Smith up against the Taieri trio of Barbara Archer, John Killen and Bruce McDowell. As I welcome back Kevin Hicklin.
Good afternoon, Brendan, and back here for round two of the Bowls3Five finals here at the 9A Bowling Club. And of course, we've got here the Nelson Club, spearheaded, of course, by the great Joe Edwards back in New Zealand, the #1 ranked woman player in the world, recently announced her retirement from international bowls. Val Smith, of course, with her playing with her long-time playing mate, and Richard Collett. Of course, they represent the Nelson Club, another one of the older clubs of New Zealand, formed in 1888. Lovely one green club, just nestled in behind the cathedral in Nelson. Got about 80 members, but we don't have to say too much more about the record of Joe Edwards, Val Smith and Richard Collett. We know what they are capable of. Of course, Taieri, of course, down in Dunedin, the Dunedin Centre, the side of Barbara Archer, John Killen and Bruce McDowell. Wonderful club there, two green club, and they certainly are a very, very competitive club there in Taieri. Been headquarters to the Nationals in Dunedin for the last couple of occasions, and I'm sure that we're going to see a pretty good encounter between these two sides. In the first round, we brought you the Auckland game up against Timaru Town and Country, where Auckland were the winners, as we see Val Smith, her first bowl, draw just alongside the jack in this 5-end sets that we play here in the Bowls3Five format.
And
so,
of course, we've already seen Nelson have success earlier this season as well, and winning the women's interclub title down in Christchurch. Joe Edwards and Val Smith having an instant impact upon their return to Nelson Bowling Club, and of course both were in the Nelson Inter-Centre side as well, which also had success. So we've seen them plenty this summer, as you would expect. Two of New Zealand's absolute greats. Joe Edwards, most capped player of all time, and Val Smith, if she plays for another couple of years for New Zealand, will be surpassing Joe Edwards in the near future. Have won everything there is in the game of bowls, Commonwealth Games, World Championship titles between them, and it's great to have them on show, along with Richard Collett, who is representing New Zealand also. And then the Taieri triple with
Barbara Archer. They set off the two counting bowls there of the Val Smith bowls. Of course, Val Smith earlier on this year as well, winning the national pairs with Lisa Bordeaux, winning the national pairs now 2 of the last 3 years. They've been victorious and beaten semi-finalists in that other year. So Val Smith certainly is having a bit of a golden patch with her successes, and great to have these players back in the country, but also great, of course, equally as great to see these club teams, the likes of the Taieri team, here at this level, Barbara Archer, of course, very well performed at Dunedin player. And we saw with her first bowl, rest out the 2 shot bowls of Val Smiths.
So Nelson, as I mentioned, they had an opening round win over Takapuna in round 1 of Section 1, where Taieri went down in straight sets to the Royal Oak Rockets. Of course, the Rockets relegated from Bowls3Five on Sky Sport last year, trying to earn their way back in, and they've had an opening round win. Nelson, they were a level first set against Takapuna, so a drawn first set, and it was 2 apiece going the 5th and final end of the second set, which Nelson eventually claimed to post an opening round win, but a very tight affair against Takapuna. And you think, just looking at names, Nelson and Takapuna do stand out from Section 1 as the 2 teams to beat.
Oh, it certainly do, Brendan, and that really came down, that game between Nelson and that Takapuna game came down to a one-end game, really, wasn't it? That's really what it came down to, because playing that last end, it was, I think, 2 apiece, wasn't it? So tied first end and then 2 apiece, and I think it also just quietly just affirms a wee bit the class of those 2 teams, the calibre within those 2 teams. So we've got now the skip, John Killen of the Taieri club. And also great to see here, I noticed earlier on, there's supporters who have made their way all the way up here from Dunedin. Dave Archer was the wife of Barbara, and a couple of other Taieri members have made their way up here to Wellington to support their team. And if we look at the end of the rink here in front of, right in front of us in the commentary, the Nelson Bowling Club, there's a crew of Nelson people who have made their way across Cook Strait. John Caldwell, of course, one of them who's done a wonderful job in the Nelson region. As we see Collett, the 2009 New Zealand singles winner, of course, represented New Zealand at the Commonwealth Games in Delhi in 2010. And doesn't play a lot of bowls in Nelson, but between him and John Caldwell, they're actually the brainchild behind the Spates Nelson Premier Fours. One Green Club, $20,000 prize money. That tournament of fours, and they get a fantastic quality field in that. And Richard Collett, one of the driving forces of that particular event. And on this first end, it is Taieri, the bowler Barbara Archer's holding shot, and that bowler John Killens falls in. It may well have made 2 of it.
Yeah, I think it has. It certainly looks like it's inside those circles, the target circles, whereas the other bowls are just on the periphery.
So we're going to see Joe Edwards come down, reaching through the head. That front bowl reaching through the head on the backhand. Edwards play up, of course. In a few moments I'll tell you something about Joe Edwards' record on carpet, and it's pretty good as we watch this bowl of Edwards trying to draw the shot, and Julie does.
Right on cue. Big thumbs up from Val Smith as Joe Edwards steals it with the final bowl of the opening end. So Nelson on the board first here in second round action. Now bringing you section 1. Round 2. Nelson 1 leading Taieri 0. 4 ends to play. First set.
Because Joe Edwards, you've got to remember, has won in fact 6 World Cup singles, which are all played on carpet, primarily mainly at Warilla. And on top of that, of course, we know 2 World Champion singles, and to go along with her, of course, back-to-back Commonwealth Games gold medals playing singles, but her expertise on carpet is certainly, she's right up there with the best, as was displayed just then. 2 down on the head, and it just highlights, Brendan, that no disrespect to any players, but there's those players, and Joe Webber's been one of them, who's just got that magnificent X factor that can play these big shots when required.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's familiar with the surface here too as well. Of course, was part of the Blackjack side that played in the Bowls Premier League here a couple of years back.
So the opening bowl of Val Smith goes in behind the head by a couple of metres, and the Taieri lead Bruce McDowell. He's sitting right on the centre line, half a metre higher than Jack. Val Smith, of course, now very involved in football in the Nelson area in her new role, which she's taken up down there. Of course, both Joe Edwards and Val Smith in their earlier years, very, very good football players, represented Nelson, of course, and played at the very high level. So
yeah, Joe Edwards is part of the national team in the early 90s before making that discovery really of bowls, and finding it pretty handy at it. You know, both her and Val Smith finding bowls at the same time at the Nelson Bowling Club, which is great to see. They're back at that club now as well, where it all started. Yeah, and there's really, it's an endless list of accolades for these two. They are two of the all-time greats for the sport in this country. And even though Joe Edwards has now retired from international duty, it's great to see her still playing so much at this level.
Oh, very much so. Of course, we're going to be fortunate later on this year where both of these players, Brendan will be bringing them with the North-South match. Both of these players, of course, part of the South Island side, which we played in the stadium in Dunedin, and we'll be bringing, it was a live coverage of that event, Barbara Archer from the Taieri Club. We saw Richard Collett draw literally right on top inside that line, and here's Barbara Archer trying to get to the shot bowl, going to sit on it and fall out. Unlucky, certainly second shot. The blue bowl of Richard Collett's will be shot, because Richard Collett winning the New Zealand singles at Pakuranga in 2009. Very talented draw player. As we watch this bowl, it's got a bit of weight on. We'll go through the port. Barbara Archer may well change her hand here and play down under the head to try and get to. That's the shot that the skip of the Taieri side, John Killen, is indicating to play on the backhand, to play underneath, see if you can get to the blue bowl, or the bowl of Collins, which is shot. And here is Barbara Archer. This is on a pretty good line, trying to get to the shot bowl. It gets a bit of luck on it, gets the jack, pushes it out, jack level. That'll be shot to Taieri as they change over. It was certainly in the target area all the way, Brendan, wasn't it? It always looked as though it was going to get some sort of result.
Yeah, it certainly was. Got a bit of fortune, as you said, worked up very handily for the Dunedin club, Taieri.
The Taieri Tigers.
Yeah, see that on their shirts. So they're all ready to go if they are going to be part of Bowls3Five on Sky Sport later in the year. Got the nickname sorted.
So here is Joe Edwards on the second end of the first set. There's only 5 ends, remember, in each set. So Joe Edwards now is very distinctive, whitey coloured bowls. Edwards just endeavouring to draw to the jack, just slides by a metre. So now John Killen will make his way back to the mat.
He wanted to check out the head, what the situation was after his bowl, and also see what Joe Edwards was capable of before making his way back down to the mat. Of course, no shot clock at this competition like there is on Bowls3Five on Sky Sport. John Killen making the most of that. I think Joe Edwards reminding him, yeah, no rush there, John. You're all right.
Take your time.
Yeah, no shot clock. I think there's a general understanding that you try and play quickly, though. You know, don't take too many visits down to the head.
Under the head, this bowler going to be Killen's. Just doesn't want to touch anything with that sort of weight, and does. And we saw a hand on head.
There'll be one down now. Joe Edwards' previous bowl, you'd think would be shot. Judging by our picture.
Slightly under the line. And Taieri, to get to this event, they defeated in their first regional playoff Arrowtown from Central Otago, and then they went on to defeat Invercargill from the Southland Centre to make their way through into the finals. And here's Edwards. Wow, that's turned the bowl out. Barbara Archer now having a look. Edwards sat on her own bowl and got one turn out of it. Just having a look.
Still be holding 2, but wonder play, of course, from John Killen. So he's got room there if he tries and sit on one of those Joe Edwards bowls. That should be shot.
He's got half a metre there, Brendan, between the jack and those bowl of Joe Edwards to draw in between those and make shot of it. So here is Killen on the backhand, trying to draw, as we said, to where those Joe Edwards bowls are, or sits on them. He's going to get some sort of contact, and will. And now that could...
I think that shot.
That would be the shot. Out comes the measure as well from Barbara Archer, looking for more than one, I would say.
One's taken away.
Now looking to see whether it's the outside bowl. Out comes the measure.
Good final bowl that from John Killen.
It's a matter there of whether this next bowl Barbara Archer's going to. Just the one it is.
So one apiece now between Nelson and Taieri of Dunedin. After 2 ends of first set, of course, 5 ends a set. If you are new to Bowls3Five, welcome in. Hope you are enjoying our coverage wherever you may be watching it here on Sky Sport Next. And of course, it's 2 sets of 5 ends. If it's a set apiece, we go to a tiebreaker to decide the winner, but very much a fast, cutthroat format of bowls. Games lasting a little over an hour.
Bruce McDowell, the Taieri lead, very deliberate on the mat. Pretty good opening bowl here from McDowell as it comes in towards the ring. It's going to sit literally right on the out of the ring, but a good line, good opening bowl. And of course, Val Smith in her own right's got a very good record in carpet as well. Most of the top players now, Brenton, are pretty apt at all surfaces, aren't they? Whereas it used to be favoured either one way or the other before, but now all the leading players now play on the multi-facility carpets and outdoor artificial surfaces, so they're all more than proficient at the variety of surfaces that are around now in the bowling world. And Nelson won their way here. They defeated Riverside from Marlborough in their first playoff, and then they defeated Blaketown of the West Coast in the second regional playoff to make their way through. I think there was in excess of 200 clubs, I think, right throughout New Zealand started off with this event, and through their various centres, and then goes on to regionals. So there's no doubt the Bowls3Five concept, Brendan, besides the televised event, has certainly got a good coverage now, and I believe the secondary school championships, which are going to be covering some stage later in the year, they're playing the Bowls3Five format as well. So it is a pretty widely played format now.
Oh, considering 4 years ago it didn't exist.
Didn't exist, absolutely correct.
Entering the 4th year of Bowls3Five on Sky Sport from late October 2021.
See Barbara Archer, she's going to draw the shot. Very good bowl from Barbara Archer, sitting behind the jack. And of course, in Dunedin, there is an indoor complex there, the Dunedin complex, which again will be commentating from there later on in the year for the North-South match. So a number of the Dunedin players do play quite a bit on the carpet with the stadium there, as we see Richard Collett run into the lead bowl of Bruce McDowell's and turn that into the head.
Pretty much at this stage of the year as well. Most of the bowls is played indoors.
So Barbara Archer now on her forehand, and I know there's quite a few from the Taieri club who are watching this down in Dunedin. They were very keen to hear on earlier on in the week on what round the Taieri team was going to be in the live action. So here it is, and we hope you enjoy it down there at the very nice and hospitable Taieri Bowling Club. So you see this bowler, Richard Collins, it's going to be under the line. Might finish jack level, but is certainly under the line, and will definitely be the Taieri side who are holding as the skips change over on end 3 of the first set of five ends, of course, per set.
As you touched on before, Taieri beat Arrowtown. I think that was played at Roxburgh, one of the host venues of the Somerset National Fours and mixed pairs we attended earlier this year.
Very enjoyable venture down there to the south, the Central Otago region. They certainly put on a fantastic event, great hospitality, good greens, and it was a pleasure to be down in that Alexandra Clyde region and to travel around a number of the smaller rural clubs spread around the centre, and we certainly got well looked after. So John Killen endeavouring to add to the count. It's on a good line, this bowler. Killen's just questioning how the weight's going to be as it breaks towards the head. Not going to have the weight. Joe Edwards, I'm sure, will follow that line. Either hand's really the call from Richard Collett. Joe Edwards going to a backhand, and of course this is where on the very first end was where Joe Edwards down on the head and drew the shot down that backhand side, and endeavouring to do so again. Needs to get inside this bowler. Val Smith is going to do so and just sit past the jack, and will definitely be Taieri holding the shot. Barbara Archer having a good look to see, and the John Killen track is just inside his own bowl by a metre, drawing down to the bowl of Barbara Archer as she indicates, just places a foot. So Killen trying to add to the count for Taieri. Needs to get a generous slide, and got a generous slide there.
Exactly what he wanted. Very fortuitous. He was under the line but ran into the short bowl and slid towards the jacks, and now holding a couple Taieri, and just the one bowl to come from Joe Edwards. There's no player that would rather have in control of this one.
I think we're going to see a change of hand. No, we're not. Staying on that backhand side is...
She wasn't far away with her
far
last.
away, and needs to just get inside this Val Smith bowl, and it is going to do so. Is it going to sit? It just sits past it, and 2 it is.
So 2 more for the Dunedin club. Taieri 3-1. They now lead Nelson after 3 ends of 5. First set of 2. And round 2 of section 1 of the Bowls3Five Interclub finals here at the Nine Eye Bowling Club in Lower Hutt, where the sun is starting to pour into the facility here. It's warming up and is very nice and comfortable now. Quite a nice mild winter afternoon.
I just wonder, Brenton, now whether, because the players have been talking about the chill earlier on, and the effect that was having on the speed of the carpet earlier on today. And I just wonder now we start to get some sun into the complex. We can see the sun now breaking through the windows out there, whether we see the pace of the green may change slightly as we see Bruce McDowell draw a front toucher.
Great start for Taieri, just what they wanted after picking up a good 2 on the previous end. Great start off the front from Bruce McDowell. Now forcing response from Val Smith. Looks narrow.
Yeah, it is going to be narrow, this bowl of Val Smith, and we'll finish just high of the jack, but certainly under the line. And one of the good things about using the circles there, Brendan, from the player on the mat point of view, it does give you a good marker, a good visual line to where you need to come to. And the visual line really for the players is really the outside of that ring, because you'll certainly draw all the way back. As there we just see that exactly that there from Bruce McDowell, just get into that outer ring, and the bowl will just, it's just a helping hand. And these leading players, of course, they very quickly on the carpet where you haven't got wind or other natural elements that can make a difference. You can very quickly work out where your line is and judge your weight. But again, we're going to see this bowl, Val Smith's now just going to get to the front of the bowl as it gets to it, turns it over, and it's a measure for shot. So Joe Weber's just indicating there and confirmed by the Taieri skip as well, John Killen, saying it's a measure. So Barbara Archer now will play on the backhand. Of course, you can turn the bowl through the head, or can sit the Val Smith bowl through the head as well. Barbara Archer's played some very good bowls early on in this game, and this is another good bowl from Archer. Has it got the weight? No, it hasn't, but we're certainly on a very, very good line. So Joe Edwards saying to Richard Collett, you can use a metre of weight here. You'll see Edwards crouching there and behind the head, and that's the weight that you watch Richard Collett to play to get contact with those two front bowls or to get through to the jack. And Collett certainly got that weight. Has it got the line? Looks like it's going to get the Barbara Archer bowl. Does. Runs onto the jack, pushes it over, and that's definitely now Taieri holding the shot. Just got two, in fact. Just got the wrong side of it with that contact, Brenton. Yeah, not where he wanted to be, and was narrow. It was under that ideal line. A bit of a shake of the head from Richard Collett. There's Barbara Archer here trying to add to the count for Taieri. On the forehand. Crouching down is John Killen. He knows this isn't far away. There's some more jack movement. And that's good for the Taieri side because it put it on that straight line and behind the jack where it was sort of, the jack was sitting out a wee bit. Just makes the shot options for Richard Collett just a wee bit more challenging. There, Joe Edwards, you say, indicating get to that, what is more like the second shot bowl. If you're on the inside, if Richard Collett is on the inside of that bowl, he's got every chance of getting through onto the jack or resting on one of those bowls to make shot of it. Just question that line though, Brendan, and yes, it's certainly going to be under the head. Collett, he'll be disappointed with that, had good weight, but just missing that line, which is so important on this carpet because you'll pay the price if you haven't got that line right for sure. John Killen just having a bit of a discussion with his number two, Barbara Archer. What she sees as the head. She makes her way down to this far end now, and her skip, John Killen, along with Joe Edwards, make their way to the mat. Of course, today we'll be bringing you a game from each of the 4 rounds played today, and then, of course, a further round tomorrow morning. And then semi-final and finals. So we'll be here right through the weekend, bringing you the live action from this great complex here at Nainai. As we watch the bowl of Killens get a touch off the inside, sits jack level, and it'll sit neat. It's a counter. Joe Edwards will now endeavour to reach up. So here is Edwards down on the head, endeavouring to play that line to reach up to the head. Richard Collett, he's interested in this, gets the front bowl of Val Smith's turns, doesn't make any difference. John Killen now needs to make sure holding 2 is the call from Barbara Archer. The most important thing here for John Killen, and he doesn't get narrow, that he stays on that wider draw line. Because Joe Edwards will certainly be endeavouring to reach to that, just reach to the area there. It's made it a wee bit challenging for herself with the front bowl of hers, and Killen's duly obliged by staying out on that wider side and runs into one of the Taieri bowls, pushes him behind the head, and just a wee bit more challenging, Brendan, for Joe Edwards with that front bowl there now. And we may well see Edwards play down with weight through the split. That's exactly what it looks like. You can see the call there from Richard Collett, and Joe Edwards play down using a yard of weight to try and get the split onto those counting bowls. So Joe Edwards will play with reaching weight, trying to make the contact onto those front bowls. Val Smith, Richard Collett, very interested in this, but it's going to disappear. Just had the weight, but just dropped under the head. 2 it is.
And 2 more for Taieri. So 2 good ends from the Dunedin club, who take a 5-1 advantage over this very much favoured Nelson trio. So 1 end to play. First set, Taieri in control. I don't think we're going to see final end power play called. Doesn't look like it.
No, they just play the set out. Of course, big call here now, Brendan, to get a 4 to to tie the set.
2's very doable, but Nelson decided, no, let's keep that power play up the sleeve for the second set, which is the common use of the power play. Of course, if you're not familiar with Bowls3Five, each team has a power play they're able to call on a particular end. It means whatever they score, if they score, is doubled. And we saw a great indication of that in our opening match that we brought to you between the Auckland Bowling Club and Timaru Town and Country. Auckland scored on their power play, turned a 2 into a 4, and they also scored on the Timaru power play end, and that was really the difference in that match, wasn't it? Drawn the first set, but they won the second set 7-2.
They attacked and defended and got duly rewarded for it. So this first bowl, both of the leads, Bruce McDowell for Taieri and Val Smith for the Nelson side, falling short at a metre short of the jack. So McDowell endeavouring to improve with his last bowl on the first set, round 2. And of course, as Brendan said before, Nelson winning their first game against Takapuna in round 1. So going by the head there was Bruce McDowell by a good metre and a half, but it's been Barbara Archer who's been really the consistent draw player in these ends, and has certainly set things up good for Taieri at the changeover.
Yeah, been very impressive, the Taieri number 2, that's for sure.
So Val Smith, Joe Edwards urging the bowl on of Val Smith. Drops just lower the jack and has got 18 inches to draw the shot. Thanks, Val. Of course, Joe Edwards and Val Smith have been mates from school early days in Nelson, growing up, playing a variety of sports together, and then, of course, have built this legendary career in the Blackjacks. You know, with a claim of medals, World Championships, Commonwealth Games, Asia Pacific. They've done it all, these girls, and it's great to see them here playing together as real good mates. As we see, that'll be the second shot drawn by Barbara Archer, who's really under the line, but for the big thing for Taieri here is to make sure they don't put themselves in a position where they're going to lose a significant number on their head. Richard Collett now trying to add to the Val Smith counting bowls on a good line, certainly the best line, and is going to be duly rewarded, and comes just past the ring, but certainly had a good line. You see Collett now walking over towards the commentary position here, trying to get just a clear line.
Of course, Nelson trying to join Stoke, the Stoke Thunder, and Bowls3Five on Sky Sport. Thunder champions from year 2 of Bowls3Five. Really, if Nelson are to secure a place in Bowls3Five on Sky Sport, be one of those 8 teams that would well and truly show that the Nelson Tasman region is an absolute powerhouse of bowls.
I personally, Brent and I would put Nelson up there with Canterbury really as, you know, really leading centre. You know, we look at the Stoke Club with, you know, the like Shannon McElroy, Jimmy Pugh, Peter Hodgson, and you know, they've Robbie Reid, and of course now Graham Grocott has joined there as well. Very, very strong lineup, and of course
Kirsten Edwards,
Amy McElroy. So they've got a very, very. If you take the Nelson Club, and then you look at what the Stoke Club offer, they certainly, they're two powerhouses in the not just in the Nelson region, but nationally they're definitely. And if you have a look at the South Island team that's been selected, there's a good indication of that in the women's side for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And they'll set up a real local derby in Bowls3Five if that does eventuate. Obviously, a lot of work for Nelson to do to make that a reality. Stoke, one of the 6 clubs confirmed already for Bowls3Five Season 4 on Sky Sport later this year. But Nelson here with 9 others trying to claim those 2 remaining spots. Of course, we will have 4 rounds of action for all the clubs involved here in the 2 sections, and then the top 2 from each section into the semi-finals, and the winners of those semi-finals not only through to tomorrow afternoon's tournament decider, but will secure a place in Bowls3Five on Sky Sport, and that is really the ultimate prize for all the 10 triples in action this weekend here at 9-8.
So Joe Edwards endeavouring to get another bowl onto the head in a county position so that to attack with the last, and look at this from Edwards, and draws just alongside the jack. So is it 3? So it's imperative here that John Killen gets another bowl on the head, because a 4 here, of course, for Nelson. We've got a drawn first set.
I think it's 2 they're holding. I think there's that Barbara Archer bowl which is inside the target circles. But without that, it's a bit lonely there, isn't it?
It is. This bowl needs to sit inside that bowl in front of it. Doesn't do so. Turns it over, in fact. So now's the look, because the sit out of the Barbara Archer bowl may well make 4. And that's just what Richard Collett indicated. Yep, that's good. You might have heard Richard Collett said there, come down here, you face the bowl out of the head, it'll make 4 shots and a drawn first set. Joe Edwards just having a good look to see what hand do you think is the best hand to play, and saying, can I get down under there to the bowl of Barbara Archer's. Having a good look is Joe Edwards, stands on the mat, that familiar delivery stance that we've seen so many times. And on that backhand, trying to reach through with a yard of weight to this Barbara Archer bowl. This is on a good line. This is on a good line.
Oh, just misses. Unbelievable. Looked good all the way down.
Joe nearly jumped in the commentary position then. She was following that pole. It looked from our angle that it certainly...
And clearly from her angle too.
Angle as well. Looked as though that had that backhand press onto the shot bowl, and just must have been only a couple of inches away from getting the ultimate result there, Brenton, and tying up the first set.
Yeah, I believe it was just a couple scored in the end. Very unfortunate. Fine there from Joe Edwards. Thought she got the result. Wasn't to be, as Taieri take the first set in our second round feature game here for you for the Bowls3Five Interclub finals at the 9-9 Bowling Club in Lower Hutt.
But just highlights, though, Brendan, with this very short game, one end, if you don't get many chances, you get that one end chance, and Joe Edwards all but got that, and the whole game can just change just like that, as it nearly did. But Taieri had done the damage in those ends 2, 3 and 4, scoring a single and a brace of twos, and that set them up for a strong position going into that last end of the fifth end of the first set. So had Bruce McDowell played his first bowl, sits a metre behind the jack but right on the centre line. Val Smith's going to come up under the line but will finish in behind the jack, and will certainly be the shot, the charcoal and white strike bowl of Val Smith. It's interesting, Brendan, in the earlier days of carpet, the New Zealand, the players used to change their bowls around because they needed a different drawing bowl on carpet to what they did with on the grass. But now with the new types of bowls that are out, that the top players play with, they tend just now to play with their own bowls. As we know those bowls of Val Smith, we've seen those on numerous times of events that we've covered. But it's just a change from what it was in days gone by, where people used to have a different set of bowls for carpet than the outdoors. So here is Val Smith playing her second bowl. This is a better line, this bowl from Smith, as it runs towards the jack, and just going to finish lower the jack. So John Killen, to Barbara Archer, who was very impressive in that first set, the Taieri number 2 on her backhand. John Killen having a close look at this bowl. Is going to come all the way back. Don't think it's quite got the weight to get past the Bruce McDowell bowl. There's a chance here on this, the first end of this, the second set. Richard Collett to get to the Val Smith bowl, get a touch on it, come inside it, get a touch on the jack. It's all in the favour of the Nelson team. There's Collett. Just going to come outside the Val Smith bowl, just comes by, and that's the deepest bowl on the rink. Had the weight to get that contact that we were talking about. Barbara Archer, of course, well, I'm not sure it was still, but was last year the president of the Taieri Bowling Club. And going to sit on the bowl, going to just go by. And that's another good bowl on the head from Taieri. And Joe Edwards just indicating to Richard Collett, just take a metre of weight off.
We have Takapuna and Hastings playing in the other match in Section 1 in round 2. And I can tell you that Hastings won the first set against Takapuna in this section. And in Section 2, we have Auckland taking on New Plymouth, and Auckland took the first set against New Plymouth, and Timaru Town and Country are playing the Parajacks. So of course we saw Timaru earlier this afternoon. The Parajacks have taken the first set in that contest. So a strong start to the tournament for the Parajacks in Auckland. Hastings making their first appearance. They had a bye in round 1. Now playing Takapuna, who had a narrow defeat to Nelson in the opening round.
At the Takapuna side, very strong side. Simon Poppleton, Renda Jensen, Lisa Parlane. Lisa Parlane, of course, New Zealand development player for a few years back, is very close to blackjack selection. And this year has had a fantastic year. Went through the whole Intercenter, played 9 games and won 8 of those 9 in Intercenter. So very, very good player. And that's a good side there. Takapuna side, as we see John Killen not going to quite reach the head. I'm sure we'll see Edwards now try and just reach under the Val Smith bowl or make contact with it. Joe Edwards on the mat, playing with a lot of weight to get to the shot. Bowl gets nothing on the way through. Obviously getting rid of that bowl, Brendan, must be a 2-shot opportunity. That I don't think that would be playing that weight unless it was a 2-shot opportunity. I don't think you'd see Joe Smith, Joe Edwards trying to play that shot for for a one-shot result. And now the call from Barbara Archer to John Killen. Give us the deepest bowl on the rink. Seeing the weight that Joe Edwards played her first with. As Joe Edwards gets the jack, wants to put some real deep cover in. Needs to clear the head completely, and will do. And that will give Taieri the deepest bowl on the rink, sitting down under the number. So that's now we hear Richard Collett talking about the shot that we thought. Joe Edwards might try and play with the first to try and get to the Val Smith bowl or get to the jack. Gets the jack on the draw, can make two of it, or can get a similar result. Val Smith.
Yeah, give an indication of the weight that like good mate Joe Edwards to play with. Try and pull off the shot. Get onto the Val Smith bowl. If she gets the jack, either or will be a good result.
Joe Edwards given a lot of thought to that shot. Didn't get that bowl away as smoothly as normal, but this is on a good line to get to the jack. Gets the jack, it makes two.
Oh,
how did that miss?
2 ends in succession. Joe Edwards can't believe how either of those have missed.
I'm sure that one had the jack on. And is two.
Unbelievable. So, Taieri make a good start to this second end. 2-0. They lead Nelson after the first end of 5. Second set.
Both ends, Brendan, it looked like it looked as though the jack was going to Joe Edwards, didn't it? That's on both occasions.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Yeah, I think her luck's got a turn. She's been very close a number of times. Of course, she made a great start to this game, but she thought she'd maybe drawn level in the previous end to tie up that first set. Wasn't to be. Taieri held on, and now Taieri making a very strong start to this second set as they look to post their first win of this competition against, you've got to say, the favourites at this Bowls3Five Interclub finals here at 9-9.
Oh, they certainly are, Brendan, and you come into this event knowing that you've really got two chances to make your way to the televised event, and they're certainly a very, very polished combination. But Taieri have certainly just got on with the job and have been drawing very, very well. As we watch this pop, Val Smith just go past the jack, and you'll see it just sitting outside the circle. And the first bowl of Bruce McDowell's sitting literally jack level. So again, McDowell will be on the backhand. And it looks to be on the line of the Val Smith bowl, just going to sit outside the Val Smith bowl. I'll be happy with that, over the head. Val Smith will just try and correct by half a metre of her first. And then Val Smith looks to be on a good line. Joe Edwards pretty keen on this one. How far is it going to run away? Not going to come all the way down. Barbara Archer now steps onto the mat on the second end of just the second set after Taieri winning the first set by 5 shots to 3.
Yet to see power play called. Wait for indications from either skip, Joe Edwards or John Killen. But when they play their power play, of course, this is the second end of 5 second sets, so 3 more opportunities to potentially play that power play, and they can play it on the same end as well.
They can, but you'd think, Brent, if Taieri were to score on this end, Nelson have to play it.
You'd think so.
Just
absolutely.
Because they're in that position on the head collar, and endeavouring to draw to the jack is going to do so. Just gets a touch on the jack on the way through, and that'll be the shot.
Yeah, they'll have that all-important last bowl, which teams prefer to have when they play their power play. They lose this end, and then also that they do lose this end. That's in the position where the set's starting to get away from them, so they need to play their power play to get back in. Of course, all could change if they win this end, and they could either be levelling, taking the lead, or just one behind.
Well, the good thing is that they're going to change over this end, holding the shot, which is always an advantage as well. Only you've got 2 bowls, and there's an advantage if you change over holding. After Richard Collett drew the shot with his first bowl on the second end, and he's on a good line again as it just comes down towards the jack, and to sit inside his own bowl, and does, and that's 2 shots to Nelson. Having a bit of a conversation, Collett, Smith, and shaking their heads. They're still in disbelief about that. The ill fortune that Jo Edwards had with her last bowl on the last two ends, where she's done everything except get the ultimate result.
Yeah, well, surely that bad fortune has got a turn. Player of her ability, she keeps getting those bowls in the right areas.
Well, the highlight's pretty not far away, are you?
Well, exactly right.
You're only centimetres away from getting the perfect result.
Taieri, hope that fortune's on their side. This time, though, it is Nelson holding as the skips are playing their first bowls.
That bowler Killiton's going to be under the head. Doesn't want to turn the Val Smith bowl over, or got a wee bit of luck there, running into a short bowl, one of the Barbara Archer bowls, and obviously the impression from it is 2. Val Smith indicating we're still holding 2 shots. So now we're going to see Edwards try and play down there. If you can turn the Val Smith bowl over, you'll see the line of 3 bowls there, and the charcoal and white bowl in the middle, and that's the bowl that Jo Edwards now will be trying to just get a roll out of it, and can make 3 shots. John Killen, 1 bowl left on this end 2. And this bowl of Edwards, it's on a great line here. Is it going to do what we said must do? It's a turn out of it. Did it get enough of it?
Don't think so. Probably needed just, I don't know, an inch really more weight and to roll out a second time.
Well, not needed 1 more turn of the bowl
exactly
really
right.
to get the ultimate result. It's imperative here, though, for John Killen that he is up to the head. He was sort of under and lower the head with that his first. So he needs to make sure, this Killen, that he's up to the head. Certainly got out of the hand, looked to be on a different line, and get to his own bowl here and turn it over. Going to sit inside the Collett bowl. Well, he doesn't, but that'll only be the one to remove one of the counting bowls. So Jo Edwards will change a hand and endeavour to just draw. You'll see Richard Collett just putting his foot down to draw, laying his foot out there. So that bowl is jack level, and that's the target area for Jo Edwards, who draws to that bowl, sits inside it. Definitely have another counter on this end 2 of the second set here at 9-8.
Doesn't like this one.
Hasn't quite got the weight
back on that one. So Nelson on the board in the second set.
Interesting here, Brendan, straight away we see Val Smith, who noticed, brought the mat. Mats come all the way up. Well, Pickham will go to the second, they'll go to the front. They're going to the front
I think we are seeing a power play called by Taieri.
So you just heard there, Taieri now calling their power play on end 3. They lead 2-1.
Yeah, signal there by Barbara Archer. A little swirl of the towel.
And certainly a different length we're playing here, Brendan, with where the mat is and where the jack, in fact, is sitting in the first ring.
Yeah, shortest possible length. Mat all the way up, jack all the way up as well.
And Val Smith responds and draws adjacent to the jack. There's Bruce McDowell. Looks as though that's going to pull up short. And of course, sometimes, especially these very good sides, that change a length to the jack can make such a difference to how the head goes. And straight away, we've seen Val Smith take control, and she'll be endeavouring here to draw another bowl very adjacent to the jack, certainly putting the pressure early on this Taieri. And of course, with it being Taieri's power play, and exactly what Val Smith's doing, sitting just higher the jack. So that's for Bruce McDowell. That's his line to take to that outside bowl of Val Smith. If he draws inside that, he'll be close to shot. Here's McDowell. He's on the run with this bowl, chasing this bowl. Passes here in the commentary position. It needs to sit inside and sat on the outside of the Val Smith bowl.
Not far away is a fair effort from Bruce McDowell.
Certainly was.
2 brilliant bowls from Val Smith off the front for Nelson, and a good response with Bruce McDowell second. And he was unfortunate not to be on the inside of that Val Smith bowl. That knocked it out of the head. So just holding 1 now. Nelson.
It's interesting,
Collins short with his first.
The comment that Val McAdowney made about when you take the power play, you just got to be careful you don't try just search for shots, because you can sort of use the direction of what you're trying to do. Ideally, with the power play, your aim is to try and score 2 shots to give you 4. You can sometimes overplay what you're doing with the power play and jeopardise your position. And the position for Taieri now is 3 bowls gone, and it's just come about they haven't got a bowl yet within what you call the scoring zone. So it just makes the power play now more challenging for them.
Yeah, they've been playing catch up though, haven't they, on this end, right from the outset.
The
Val
first
Smith
bowl
drew 1 close, and then her second, and from then they've been playing catch up rather than dictating
Collins gonna
terms.
sit inside, and that's 3 shots. So of course, yeah, it's imperative that Barbara Archer, who's played very well in this match on her backhand, needs to try and get to the Val Smith bowl. Look narrow out of the hand. Time will tell. Depends what line she's got to the jack. John Killen, and turns the bowl through the head.
I think that's one of theirs, isn't it?
That was
That's
McDowell
bowl, I believe.
Bruce McDowell bowl.
Rather than a Collett bowl. So that's worked out okay for Taieri. Obviously what Barbara Archer was trying to do.
Definitely Nelson holding, and it's Taieri that are leading by 2 shots to 1 as we play end 3 of 5. And remembering, of course, that Taieri won the first set by 5 shots to 3. Joe Edwards on the mat. You'll see she's moved right over to the corner of the mat on that forehand draw, trying to get that exact line, that exact vision to the jack. And it's going to be short of weight. But of course, what this might do now, I thought it might just cut that line off for Taieri, because I'm sure you'll see John Killen endeavouring to play the other hand, the back, or his forehand, trying to get up to the shot bowl of, and they have got, Taieri have got the advantage of having the deepest bowl on the rink. So Joe Edwards has played 1 bowl as John Killen, the Taieri skip, the Taieri Tigers, makes his way back to the mat. And he's got 2 bowls to take advantage of the power play that Taieri have called. So on his forehand, trying to reach through those bowls and sit on the, what is the shot bowl of Val Smith's. Barbara Archer looking closely at this, depends which side gets the Archer bowl.
And turned it into 1. 1 signal there by Barbara Archer, so it's nestled alongside the McDowell bowl.
Bit fortuitous.
A bit fortuitous, but was pretty much in the area of where he wanted to be.
Was under half a bowl away from getting the right side to get the right result.
And then that was the next best result, wasn't it, doing exactly that? So, well played. John Killen.
So Joe Evans trying to make contact on the shot bowl and get some jack movement. Not going to do so. This might be a case of take the one and let's be happy. Because it's the power play. Let's not try too hard because doesn't want to touch the jack on what is his backhand, because if you let's see Brendan, there is 1, 2, 3 that Nelson bowls sitting in behind the head. Yeah, let's not take, the old story in this game. You don't take too many gambles.
Yeah,
on
of course, at the moment they're holding one, which counts as 2.
So takes them to 4.
4-1 lead, exactly.
Forcing,
2 ends to play.
And forcing Nelson to take the power play to score.
Well, looks like he's going to have a go here, see if he can turn it into 2, which would be 4.
He doesn't want to be under the green and touch the jack. And he's on the wider side, the safe side would call it. And there's a very good attempt from John Killen to set the bowl. Doesn't do so. And
so
that's
1 and it's double to 2 on the Taieri power play. So 4-1. They now lead the Dunedin club. 3 ends of 5 played. Second set, of course, as you can see on the scoreboard, top left-hand corner. They did win the first set as well, Taieri. 5-3. No hint of power play called.
You would think that Nelson would play it now as well because they've got the last bowl.
You'd think. Maybe they're thinking, no, let's win this end and play it in the last.
So no movement in regards to a power play from...
Unless we have missed something.
Unless we've missed it.
So 4-1 it is, second set.
So
fourth end of 5 to be played.
So Edwards maybe working on the principle, will score 1 this end and go for gold. No. Well,
they still need 2, don't they?
Absolutely.
They still need 2 on the final end if they only got the 1. So yeah, it's interesting.
So Val Smith now after the first bowl of Bruce McDowell's sprint bite. Meet up is on the backhand. It's the current blackjack.
The only other thing is maybe we missed a power play signal.
Maybe we missed that option.
It could be missed earlier in the match.
Good opening bowler.
And Taieri perhaps scored on the Nelson power play end, who knows? I'll let you know as well in the other match in this section between Takapuna and Hastings. Takapuna are leading Hastings 3-1 after 3 of 5 ends second set, after Hastings won the first set. And in section 2, the game's taking place between Auckland, New Plymouth and Timaru and the Parajacks. 3-3 between Auckland and New Plymouth after 4 ends. So they're playing the 5th and final end, second set. Auckland won the first set. And in the other match, playing the 5th and final end, and the Parajacks are leading Timaru 5-1. And the Parajacks won the first set as well. So Parajacks, 2-set victory round 1. Looking very much like a 2-set victory round 2.
Certainly do, and the Parajacks and Auckland looked as though they've got away to a fairly good start. As you see, Val Smith trying to just get past the bowl of Bruce McDowell's, definitely holding the 1 shot, and saying to Barbara Archer, you play whatever hand you choose to draw the shot, Barbara. So I'm sure we'll see Barbara Archer, that well-performed Taieri player.
And is shaking hands, in fact, over in that rank in section 2. So the Parajacks believe have won that one over Timaru. So Timaru in a bit of a hole. They've obviously had 2 losses. Narrow loss to Auckland first up, which we brought to you here on Sky Sport earlier this afternoon. And now we think a straight sets defeat to the Parajacks.
Barbara Archer just falling slightly low of the jack. Change of hands here for Richard Collett after he was short with his first. And the forehanders Collett, 2009 New Zealand singles winner, Commonwealth Games representative in 2010 to Delhi looks to have a good bowl here. Gets past the front bowl. Does do. That's 2 shots.
Yeah, 2 down, says John Killen. Skip for Taieri. So
Well, Archer's got to play through that. You see the triangular bowls there, being in the shot really for Barbara Archer's to play to that triangle. The front bowl there, Bruce McDowell's play through it with a yard of weight. They've got the deepest bowl on the green, and behind there, the other bowl, McDowell's dangerous.
Moving the jack back is a good result
Well,
for Taieri.
The danger is here, you try and dare draw the shot and you fall short and just build the wall up. And that's exactly, Archer is playing with that weight that we spoke about, trying to make that contact, makes contact. And
Oh, the jack doesn't move though.
but only the 1 down now. Or may still be 2. Definitely 1 down.
Yeah, just the 1, I think.
But unfortunate, because that was the shot that we spoke about, Brendan. Certainly was a good opportunity. Collett now will endeavour to just follow that of his first, which was a counting bowl. So Val Smith and Joe Edwards, look, they're having a good laugh there at the moment, but watching this bowler, Richard Collett, just going to get past, and it's outside. It is 2. Joe Edwards very quickly to indicate it's 2 shots to Nelson.
Yeah, it's right on that second circle in our target area, whereas the Barbara Archer bowl, previous bowl, is just outside. So 2.
Well, the thing for
Collett and Nelson.
The thing for Taieri here, Brenton, is it's where the head's placed, and because we don't think that Nelson have used the power play, it's a weighted shots to the head, because even if you don't actually get the shot, even if you remove one of those counting bowls of Nelson, you just make it that more difficult for them going into that last end. You can try and dead draw, and you're going to finish up playing short. So you can either get the ultimate result, or you can make reduction, thus putting pressure on that last end on the Nelson side.
We'll see how John Killen plays it. Making his way to the mat now is the Taieri skip. Joe Edwards waits. I know the importance of this here, do Taieri. Obviously they lost their opening round game against Royal Oak. Won the first set here, leading in the second. And they don't want to let Nelson right back into this set.
It's a nothing from John Killen, really. It's got drawish weight, but way outside the target area. Remembering they're holding 2, Nelson, and Joe Edwards got every chance here to turn this into 3, and perhaps this is the punt that's taken. Is let's try and get a good hit on the 4th, then take the power play. We'll wait and see whether that's the call or not. But
I'll start from Joe Edwards. She has another go. Yeah, you'd certainly back her here to add another to the count. They're holding 2, and Nelson to just draw a 3rd in between those 2 Collett bowls. See one short of the jack and one just
this will
past. Yeah, they look interested to Val Smith, and that's exactly what she's done. Drawn another one. Val Smith and Richard Collett knew halfway down that was on the right line, and it's nestled just alongside one of the Collett bowls.
Well, this just has to be a weighted reduction shot, Brett. It just trying to play.
Well, as it stands, it scores are tied at 4 apiece, unless
and
John
a possible
Killen can do
power
something
play to
here.
come. So
exactly right.
So it's got to play with.
Well, it's regardless even of not a power
It
play.
is, because so he's got to play with weight to get reduction, and he is.
And he gets the jack into the ditch. Wonderfully done. Well, not just reductions, says John Killen. Oh, the shot myself. Brilliantly played from the Taieri skip.
I spoke about reduction. That was reduction plus, wasn't it? But you got the jack, clean, and you'll see the yellow marker there, Richard Collett. You'll see that's where the jack situated. Joe Edwards, we know, is more than capable of drawing to the ditch. We've seen her do that so many times, but
yeah, she's doing it just for one, though, isn't it? Rather than
correct
just to win the end, or you think she needs to win the end. Otherwise, Taieri going to be very hard to chase down with just one end to play. Potential power play, yes, but they need something special in the final end. How's this for an effort? Very good one at that.
Well, they're having a look over the top now to see whether the Joe Edwards bowled.
That's where, yeah, you think that shot there is it, and that was the bowl from John Killen, wonderfully executed on the drive. So Taieri 5-1 advantage now. We'll be playing the final end. Assume it's power play, but we don't actually know for sure.
Just get it, see if we can get an indication whether Nelson have called the power play. Just see what happens. If someone can just let us know. But it is 5-1 to Taieri.
Yeah, we can only assume it is, but perhaps we missed it earlier in the contest.
Just seem to get Joe Edwards looking over it this way to see whether Nelson are taking a power play. So 5-1, it's Taieri leading. First bowl of Bruce McDowell, metre and a half high the jack. So Val Smith got plenty of room to draw another, to draw the shot, and will do so, and draws right towards the jack, sits in behind it. Good opening bowl from the current blackjack. And this would be the first upset if this was to happen.
Well, this would be a big, big upset, wouldn't it? Nelson coming off opening round win, really the pre-tournament favourites. Taieri after straight sets lost to Royal Oak, of course one of the relegated sides from Bowls3Five Season 3 on Sky Sport.
Bruce McDowell draws the shot, lower the jack. You can see, looking from where we're sitting here in the commentary position, that is the shot. So Val Smith want to beat that bowl. Touch on the jack would be ideal for the Nelson combination.
There's the scoreboard.
And
power play was called on the previous end.
So
wow,
that was a big number then that was sitting there until that drive came from.
Wow, yeah,
it was 6 shots.
Yeah.
It was equivalent to 6 shots.
Huge play. Well done, Aaron, on the camera, finding the scoreboard there and seeing that indeed the power play was played on the previous end. Well, we didn't see the signal. Well, that just makes that bowl
7-shot
drive
turnaround
of John Killen's even huger. So
yeah,
Nelson were holding 3 on the head from
correct.
Joe Edwards' first, and then he played an absolute stunner. So that was, they were holding 6 because it was their power play end. That means they would have been 6-4 up playing the last end. Instead, Killen drives the jack into the ditch. 5-1 they lead playing the last, and Nelson needing really a miracle on this 5th and final end, because a 4's not good enough. A drawn second set's not going to do it. They need to win the second set to take us to a tiebreaker, which I believe we have gone to in the other game in this section between Takapuna and Hastings. Takapuna winning the second set after Hastings won the first. It's the first tiebreaker of the Bowls3Five Interclub finals here at 9-9.
So really, because of the first bowl of Richard Collins disappearing under the head, this bowl at Collins really has to be in the vicinity, and it's not going to be. So it's safe to say, unless Joe Edwards can move the jack back about 1.5 meters, because remembering, of course, that they've got to score 5 shots to win the set to get a playoff end. And the only way that's going to happen here is jack movement, and all really John Killen's got to do is be over the head, and I wouldn't be worrying about what's happening at the front of the head now. they'd just be playing down, and that's exactly where Barbara Archer now.
They don't have to overthink this, do they?
No, it's pretty simple, really.
They just need to stop a 5 or a 6.
And there's only one place you need to be to stop that, and that's down there where I just saw Bruce McDowell indicate with his foot, and that's exactly where they need to be, and that completely then negates the opportunity of a jack trail for Joe Edwards for a 5-shot opportunity. 4 on the jack trail now, and with her bowl would make 5. Of course, one bowler, John Killen's, can negate that straight away.
And that'll be the aim. So took his time at the head, now made his way to the mat, has the Taieri skip. And looking to put this set out of reach for Nelson.
So we watch this bob of John Killen's endeavouring to get over the head, and that's not gonna do it.
Well, it's over the head, but only just, and needs to be further, and it's very wide as well.
So Joe Edwards looking for literally a metre movement of the jack on her forehand to turn an opportunity of being down, but turning it into a 4 or 5 shot count with her one more bowl to come. So here's Edwards now coming past us in the commentary position, endeavouring to get to the jack, playing with that weight that we spoke about, going by. And if we go back, Brendan, earlier on in this game, we saw 2 bowls of Joe Edwards that missed the jack each time by centimetres to give the perfect result. Who knows now what difference those 2 bowls may well have made should they have got to the target. They certainly, from our viewpoint, looked as though they were on target. But Taieri, they've stuck to their draw. And
mid-green huddle here for Taieri. Bruce McDowell, Barbara Archer and John Killen.
As you said, Brendan, you don't want to overthink these things too much, because there's only one shot there's only one scoring chance there for Joe Edwards, and that jack movement of just under a metre to that nest of bowls, and it only takes one bowl of Taieri's to be past the head. It only has to be past the head, and it's straight away. It negates that very difficult opportunity. You can see there where the jack would have to move to. So
we see a change of hands here. No,
it needs a metre of extra weight.
Thought we made chance just to try and avoid the short stuff on John Killen's forehand, left deep, but no. Swishing with the forehand side, he's certainly got the extra weight. Has he got?
Oh, it's gone. Oh, it's still there, that chance.
It's knocked into his first bowl, so still a chance here. That needs the jack trail.
There, you'll see Val Smith there pointing on the carpet. And the jack needs to move in between the Val Smith bowls and Richard Collett bowls, and that would leave the Nelson combination holding 5 shots.
And we'll be going to a tiebreaker if that's the case. Can she do it, Joe Edwards?
Big shot have to play here by Edwards, looking for the jack, looking for the jack.
Oh, she
got
it,
but not enough.
Is that going to be 4, is it?
Definitely 3, I think. I give
3. Yeah, so it's shake hands time. So Taieri winning straight sets. Outstanding work by the Dunedin club. An upset here at Nine Bowling Club. Straight set victory in round 2, section 1 for Taieri. If they won the first 5-3, we think they've taken the second 5-4. And we'll hopefully be able to bring you some coverage of the other game, which is in a tiebreaker, that between Takapuna and Hastings. Hastings won the first set. Takapuna took out the second, and we are in the tiebreaker of that game.
Simon Poppleton, the skip for Takapuna. He makes his way back to the mat. quite sure who holds a shot there in that tie break. But Poppleton is going to be through and under.
Just short.
With that weight, it would appear, Brendan, that it would be Takapuna that was down. And Dean Drummond, of course, the skip for Hawke's Bay. Very, very good player in the Bay. Well, and of course, in the national scene, played age group bowls for New Zealand. Drummond, as we've seen, the first upset really in this Bowls3Five final, with Taieri defeating.
So here we are on rink number 6, now seeing the tiebreaker play out between Takapuna and Hastings. Dean Drummond just following his bowl down. So each skip have played one each. Simon Poppleton now, the skip for Takapuna, making his way down to the head.
Well, there's a Wendy Jensen bowl sitting out to Jack Level. You can't see at the moment Wendy Jensen just standing there, but there's a Wendy Jensen bowl adjacent there, Jack Level, which may well, it can't be the shot, otherwise you can see the Wendy Jensen, I thought was the Wendy Jensen bowl, and I think the front bowl's got the shot.
Yeah, it looks like the front bowl does have the shot. The Wendy Jensen bowl is just one of the black and white bowl just out to the right hand side of the jack as we look at it.
Because this
short bowl looks like the shot.
This game very quickly becomes important for Takapuna after losing their first game.
Absolutely.
This
is Hastings' first game. They had a bye in the opening round, so they were just able to watch. And saw Takapuna go down in a final in match against Nelson. Nelson claimed that. Now Takapuna going all the way to a tiebreaker end. So they've had some early drama.
They have.
Takapuna, another of the, I must say, fancied triples, and you got Wendy Jensen, Lisa Parlane, Simon Poppleton, but Pam Rowlands, Alex Jones, and Dean Drummond done a good job.
Needs to get contact that Poppleton was playing for, doesn't do so.
And that could be it. It is indeed. No need for Dean Drummond to play his second, so Hastings beat Takapuna on a tiebreaker end here in our second game in Section 1, Round 2 action, and Hastings are on the board with a win, and that's 2 defeats now for Takapuna. First going down to the final end of the second set, and this time on a tiebreaker end. Heartbreak for Simon Poppleton's quartet as we see a points table for you. So Nelson Bowling Club have played 2, 1 win and 1 loss. Royal Oak Rockets 1 from 1, and Taieri now in Section 1 on the board. Those are the 3 teams, and now we can also add Hastings to that ladder because they've just beaten Takapuna Bowling Club. And in Section 2, Auckland Bowling Club and the New Zealand Parajacks 2 from 2. Great start from them. And the Henuela Heats and New Plymouth Bowling Club have just had the 1 game played, and Timaru have had 2 from defeats from 2. As that completes our coverage from round 2 action here of the Bowls3Five Interclub Finals. Make sure you join us in around half an hour. In fact, at 3:45, we will have 3rd round action for you here from Nainai.
Today we're making new friends. We're building a community. And we're still doing all the things we love. We're getting the most out of every day. One day we'll rest, but not today.